specifically, I've looked at epidemiological data because I think it's important for us to really be convinced that it's a burden and what the prevalence of short sleep is. And for those of folks who aren't aware of this, that if you're getting less than 7 hours, 6 or less, that epidemiological data, and I mean epi data that not cross-sectional, but trends data, have shown, as well as longitudinal data, have shown that individuals who get less than 7 hours are significantly at risk for a whole host of adverse health outcomes, whether it be brain health in terms of increased risk for dementia or early mild cognitive impairment, or heart disease, which, it's quite timely for our conversation because the American Heart Association just recently released Life's Essential Aids. And this is something that many of us and some of my dearest colleagues have fought for. My role as advisor to the American Heart Association for their cardiac rehab program, as well as for the Center for Healthcare Technology and Innovation, we all recognize that sleep was important. But what they needed to see was overwhelming evidence that sleep was linked to heart health. And so we've also seen that individuals who get less than 7 hours are at greater risk for diabetes. They are at greater risk for autoimmune disease. They are at greater risk for respiratory illnesses and conditions like asthma and COPD. They are at greater risk for cancer. So you see overwhelmingly that sleep is critical. And some of your audience may ask, why is that so? And I'll just kind of briefly explain how I conceptualize sleep. And I think for a lay audience, it's vital to provide an analogy. I truly believe that sleep in many ways helps to till the soil. So if you're planting a seed, that, if you plant your seed, that you have to plant it in great soil, or else it will not grow. And if it does grow, it will not flourish. And so what sleep does, that it provides the body, particularly through a series of mechanisms, such as homeostasis. Sleep actually serves as that equilibrium for homeostatic processes within the environment of the body. So in terms of cell environment and tissue environment. And so we find that individuals who get more sleep and adequate sleep, that in many ways you are really tilling the soil, or in many ways ensuring that the biological environment is conducive for proper growth and health. But in many ways, sleep is important because it is restorative. So if your body is like a machine in some ways, that it's constantly working automatically, if your organs are continuously being worked and overworked and not getting the adequate rest, then that would leave significant wear and tear. And so sleep provides your body the opportunity to ensure that you can reduce that wear and tear. And there have been several studies that have shown that people who are short sleepers, where they get less than 7 hours, have increased accelerated aging. We put together a paper looking at heart age and how individuals with shorter sleep have an accelerated heart age, meaning the age of their heart was significantly higher than their chronological age. And so these are some of the overwhelming evidence that shows that sleep is important. And the last mechanism that I'll share has to do with brain health. So I spoke about homeostasis. I gave the analogy of the soil. I spoke about the body as a machine, how it is restorative. And then the last one has to do with the brain. We recognize that in many ways, while all organs are important, that the brain serves as this centerpiece of all organ functioning and all biological functioning. And one of the things that we're starting to see, and the evidence has become more and more overwhelming, is that sleep is important for normal and natural brain health. And you see this in animal studies, with mice. So sorry to those of individuals who say, studying a mice is different from a human being. But that same evidence has been translated to humans. And what we've seen is that the body, particularly the brain, has to clear the brain of debris or toxins. So again, the brain, analogous to a machine. If you go into any factory and you see it turning and you see debris on the shavings of metal and you see that gunk that kind of gets stuck, and if you have like pistons and all of that working, you have to realize that that's not flowing as easily as it used to when the machine was new. The beauty of the human being and the mind and the brain is that we have a system embedded that clears us, and it kind of in many ways clears the toxins and it lubricates in many ways. And so many studies have shown that it is during sleep that is when the brain clears itself. It is like a vacuum system. And so if you shortchange the amount of sleep that you get and the quality of sleep, then you are compromising your body's ability to do the natural biological cleansing process. And so those are the three ways in which sleep is very important and vital.